Let's see. Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for being with us here tonight. I'm so excited that we get to have Christy Jex here with us, Emerald Ambassador, almost Sapphire Ambassador. And I'm just so grateful for this woman and all the hard work that she puts in and dedication that she gives to everyone. I want to start with a few announcements really fast as we get started. Number one is we have the 7-day challenge starting next Monday. So right now is the time when you want to start inviting people to that. You want to be inviting people, asking if they're interested in trying 7 days of the pink drink. We are specifically making this a slim block challenge. You can put anyone in this challenge. They don't have to order the slim and block, but this is a great time of year to sell the block with your 7-day challenge. What they would do is you would place an order for them on your account with your credit card. They would buy a 7-day trial pack of the slim and a bottle of the block. And then you would ship that to their house, and they would either Venmo you or PayPal you or give you cash for that. If they live locally and you have those things on hand, super easy just to sell that out of your pantry. I do that a lot of the time. If you don't, no big deal. Just place it on your account. They can also create a retail customer account. And then when they're ready to enroll after the challenge, they would upgrade at that point. I have just found over the last 6 months or so that it just saves me a lot of time and energy and effort if I just sell it to them from my account and have them pay me back. You cannot use their credit card on your account. It won't let you do that. It violates the FTC. You can't use other people's credit cards on your account. But you can buy it on your credit card, ship it to them, and then have them pay you for it. So those are the options that you have. Again, the block is so amazing because it blocks 48% of carbs and sugar. And the way that I like to tell people about it this time of year is you are going to be going to so many holiday parties. The treats are going to be around. And even if you don't crave sugar, sometimes it's kind of fun just to have a taste of something. And so I just like to have my bottle of block in my purse. Makes for a great conversation piece. You can whip that baby out, pass it around to all your friends. I was passing it around at Thanksgiving dinner. And so it's a great product to have. And so they would buy the 7-day trial pack of the slim and then an entire month's bottle of the block. And then another option that you could do if you have a lot of block on hand, which I do, is I'm just giving with any purchase of a 7-day trial pack, I'm going to give them 7-day sample of the block. You could give them a 5-day sample. You could give them a 3-day sample. It's really up to you, but don't feel like you have to give away everything, because when I did this starting out, I had everyone buy a trial pack and a bottle of block. So it's totally reasonable. They're going to be able to use that bottle all December long. And if they want to upgrade, or when they want to upgrade at the end of the 7-day challenge next week, they're going to be able to keep on holding on to that block and get their triplex and their X Factor or their accelerator, whatever else they're going to get. It's going to go great with that block. So just want to remind you, you want to be inviting people up until Thursday. Thursday would be the last day that they could place an order and still have their products arrived by the 7-day challenge. And then after Thursday, you are going to want to be reaching out to people who are local that you can take products to. Another thing that you can be doing also is anyone that has joined your team in the last month or two that maybe you have not thought about inviting to the 7-day challenge. You want to reach out to them and say, hey, just want to let you know I'm going to be adding you to a really fun educational group that starts on Monday. It's called our 7-day challenge. It's for all sorts of people who just want to learn about the product, some people who are just trying it out for a week. So I'm going to add you to that so that you can learn more also. And the more you comment on the post, the more you're entered to win prizes. And I know you're going to love learning about the product. So just keep an eye for that. I'll send you a reminder message when I add you to the group. It's going to be called 7-day challenge. because you want to use the 7-day challenge as an opportunity for education, for product knowledge, to build your current ambassadors' belief. So really keep that in mind. And then during the 7-day challenge next week, we are also going to be having our live our live business event call. So keep that in mind as well. If you have people who you're thinking, gosh, they'd be a really great business builder, I really want to do this business with them, you're going to want to be relationship building with them a lot the next week, so that the timing is right for you. Invite them to tune into that call next Thursday. So those are the announcements that we have, right? Oh, also, Sub for Santa. I know Brooke is doing one on her Ohana Plexus page. 2 or 3 families. Lee is doing one, I believe. Christy Jex and I are teaming up, and with all the other people from me down, we have a Sub for Santa family that we are doing. Make sure you check on your team page for the rules and guidelines for how all of those work. I know I've combined my reindeer run with my Sub for Santa, and pretty much the common theme with all of it is when you enroll a new ambassador with a subscription, make sure you go to whatever post that is on whatever team page you are on and leave a comment so that you can so that it gives points so that we can do all these fun things and you get credit for that. And Brooke says that hers is open to everyone on Ohana, so please feel free to participate. I'm even going and documenting my things on Ohana Plexus just for fun. So anytime that you get an enrollment or a new customer, go and document that. If you have anyone that orders 100 PV on top of their welcome pack, go and document that. We just want to give you credit for every little thing that you do this month. That's amazing. So lots of rank ups happening this month. We want everyone to be successful, and that's what these are meant to do, is to help you do that and be fun, and also give you an excuse to reach out to people. Because think about, I know sometimes people think, oh, I don't want to reach out because it's Christmas. They've already spent so much money. I feel badly asking them to spend more. If that is uncomfortable for you, if that's an objection that you are having, this is what I would tell you to do. Reach out to your friends and family and say, I know it's Christmas. Gosh, I want to tell you about this amazing thing that we are doing with my Plexus family. We have adopted a family and we're doing Christmas for them this month. Let me tell you a little bit about this family. Whatever it is that your Sub for Santa family is doing. I know Brooke has one whose baby is getting a liver transplant. My family that we're sponsoring, their mom just barely lost their job last week and they have no way to pay for rent, groceries, let alone Christmas. And so whatever it is, reach out to your friends and family and say, when you place an order this month, your commission is going to go to help give this family a better Christmas, and make it special for them. Would you be interested in placing an order this month and having that commission go toward giving this family a better Christmas? And it's a great way for you to follow up without needing a special or an incentive or a promotion. The incentive and promotion is Christmas magic and giving to others. So I really want to encourage you to reach out and tell people what we're doing so that we can give more to these families, because the more orders we get, the more people that enroll, the more people that place 100 PV orders this month, the more we're going to be able to give back and make these Christmases amazing for these people that are just not having the best December. So we're going to make it magical for them. Okay, so without further ado, unless Brooke, are there any other announcements you want me to make? Leave a comment or forever.
You got it. You got it, girl.
Got it? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Christy Jex, you are up. So I'm just going to, without further ado, Christy Jex, Emerald Ambassador, knocking on Sapphire's door. Tell us what you have done to get to where you are, to create the momentum you have created, and how have you kept that going? Teach us, oh wise one.
Oh gosh, stop that right now. You're so sweet. First of all, I'm just like so honored and a little bit like cold feet about doing this right now. I feel so grateful and so blessed, but at the same time, first of all, Brooke and Emily are amazing, and they've taught me so much of what works for us. And also, you guys are so awesome too. Like, we've got a rockin' team here, so I feel a little bit like intimidated at this appointment, I guess you could say. So Anyway, I am just so excited to share with you a little bit about my journey. And my goal and my hope and prayer is that you will get something, that you'll relate to something that I'm saying, and that maybe something I say, you'll go, oh, yeah, I thought maybe that was different for her. And I actually can relate on that. And now maybe actually I can push through this thing that's hard for me right now, or maybe make a shift. That's my hope and prayer, is that you'll get something out of this that will help you in your business and in your life. So for those of you who don't know much about me, I have 4 children, 12 and under. We live in Saratoga Springs. We are Emerald, and it's been about 18 months that I have been sharing Plexus. And I was absolutely not open to the idea of doing Plexus in the beginning. I don't know how many of you know how not open I was. So I'm going to tell you a quick story, because I feel like you guys can hear all these awesome tips. We hear so many awesome tips from diamonds that we're hearing from right now. And I hope that something I share with you with this little journey with a few pictures will strike something in you that will help you to crash through a barrier or something that's holding you back. So I'm going to share my screen, and I want to show you a picture here. Can you guys see my screen here? Can you see that dark-haired girl? Is this working? Yes? Okay. Okay, so do you guys see that's my cute, handsome hubby, and this is me. This was in 2005. And the reason I'm showing you this is because this is where it all started, when I started to not be open to Plexus. This is why. So these were the days in 2005. We had like a brand new baby, Jackson, who's now 12, and we found ourselves totally engulfed with the network marketing company. I mean, we had bought into their vision to forever. We were so committed. Well, I'll just explain what I saw in this picture. Here's the good news about what happened at this time frame when we were working for this other company. This is where our mindsets were blown wide open. Our hearts caught fire with the possibilities that we saw. Our dreams were dazzling us into working really hard. We learned to stretch our comfort zones, to stand strong regardless of doubters. This is where I learned that. We learned the importance of constant personal growth and developing ourselves as leaders. We learned and internalized the phrase, be a leader, make it happen. This is what our one of the big, huge head honchos in our area used to say, be a leader, make it happen. And we kind of thought it was rude at the time, but we're like, okay, I'll be a leader, I'll make it happen. Meaning, don't lean on me, don't ask me, be a leader, make it happen. You can determine your own success. So that's where we really learned this. But here's what didn't work about this time frame and our experience with network marketing. We did not have upline support, guys, none. The comp plan was flawed and had gaping holes all over the place where it just didn't work. People didn't make money. There was a lack of product passion, and zero income after 3 years of working hard they called it all out massive action. We did that for 3 years and made no money. Guys, that's crazy, okay? So I want to show you, this is one of our, so they had 4 different, they call them nationals, where you would like fly across the country and you would go to these conventions, and you'd bring, the more people you had there, the more like your team was going to explode. And if you didn't go to these events, then your people, the upline, would not work with you. It was really hardcore. So we flew across the country 4 times a year when we had no money, and it was all on our dime. They didn't pay for any of it. Guys, we had 150 people on our team, business building, not customers, 150 business builders, and we made no money. This was just a fraction of our team at this one convention, and we still made no money. Like, we're talking, we were in the hole from all the conventions we went to. So needless to say, after we drew the line and decided that this was not for us, I didn't want to put any strain on my relationships. I didn't want to do network marketing. It was awkward. It was not my thing. Let's fast forward to this right here. Okay. So look at my poor puffy face, guys. Are you kidding me? That is really sad. Okay, so I'm not going to go too much into this health part of it, but you can find my health story on YouTube if you want to. But I struggle with Hashimoto's, with adrenal fatigue, with depression, anxiety, candida yeast overgrowth. My journey led me to a functional medicine doctor. It led me on a path to do the anti-inflammatory diet for 2 years because I was committed to heal my body. Okay, in this picture, my friend Jenny Weilacher had told me about Plexus. But I was like, I don't do quick fixes. I'm not doing it. And so I said, this is day one. I'm going to get my health back the right way. I'm going to work out. I'm going to eat nothing with sugar, dairy, gluten, or yeast in it. I'm going to get feeling better. Okay, so I was stubborn is what I'm trying to tell you guys. So stubborn and not open to the business for sure, no. And surely not open to the products. And then this picture was 2 months later. I had done that for 2 months. I had totally been committed to my diet, not any sugar, no dairy, no gluten or yeast for 2 months, and this is how I felt. In this picture, I felt hopeless. I felt like I would never be my happy, chipper, fit, and thriving Christy ever again, and I felt hopeless. This is where I was humbled. This is where I got to that place where I was like, okay, oh my gosh, it chokes me up. I had to get to this place because I had to be committed to change, and I had to be committed to this process. So I called my friend Jenny and said, give me your quick fix. It's not going to work, but I'm just going to take it. And I did enough research to know that healing the gut, reducing inflammation, and balancing blood sugar is what I needed to do, and I'd been trying to do for 2 years with diet. So I said, okay, if that's what you guys claim to do, I'm going to give these supplements 6 months, and I'm not going to expect any huge results because I know that quick fixes don't work. So give me your dang magic pill and I'll show you it doesn't work. And I wasn't open to the business, you guys. I was super snarky about Brooke and Emily. I'd met them and I was like, oh my gosh, they're so cute. They're here at Emily's house on a Friday night talking about vitamins. Like, I don't want to do that. Like, I bet they made like $20 tonight. You have to know though, like my history. I came from a situation where I worked my tail off for 3 months or 3 years and we made no money. So I thought there's no way that they could actually make money and there's no way these things actually work. Okay, so this is 90 days after that picture when I started Plexus. For about a week before this picture, this was in May of 2016. For about a week before, I started to really notice the life-changing benefits of Plexus. And I started to realize that this was life-changing and I was getting my life back and I was starting to feel happy again. I started to lose weight. I started to have energy. I didn't need my 3-hour nap in the afternoon. So needless to say, I'm a yellow-red. I like to help people. So the stirring started to come. You need to share this. People are struggling. You really need to share this with people who are in the dark like you were. And I was like, no, guys, can you see? I have to stop sharing because I got to see your faces. But can you understand why I felt that way? I did this for 3 years and made no money and made awkward relationships, and it totally put this damper on my life. So when I started to get those stirrings, I was like, I'm not doing it. I can't do it. I can't be that annoying girl. And I seriously was in havoc about it because my heart was telling me one thing, but I kept getting these stirrings and I was like, no, stop. Okay, so that's when I grilled Brooke and Emily for a whole weekend. I literally was like, hey, do you guys actually make money? How much do you work? Do you really help people? Does this work like this for everyone? And I grilled them for a whole weekend. And that picture was the girls' weekend where I went away with my sister-in-laws for a weekend. And I told my husband before I left, I'm going to go with baby Benji right here because he was nursing. And I said, I'm going to pray my heart out about this. And I really want the answer because I'm a stubborn girl and I was skeptical, but I always know that if he says it's supposed to work and it's what I'm supposed to do, then I'm going to do it, regardless of what I think. But it was like heart-wrenching because I didn't want to do it. But my faith was bigger than my fear. So I prayed my heart out, guys, and I'm so sorry, but this part always makes me choked up. Or it makes me cry ugly. There's a difference between being choked up and crying ugly, right? But I prayed. I remember kneeling on the floor of that condo that weekend. My bathwater was running. Benji was laying on the bed asleep. And it was the last day that we were there, and I've been praying my heart out, like, is this your thing? And my answer was, I've prepared a way, and there's people that are waiting for you, and you need to show up. And it's not about you. Okay, that's important. That was the point where my line was drawn in the sand. I knew for sure I was supposed to do this. I knew for sure this was his thing, and I knew for sure I needed to show the freak up in a big way, not in a mousy little squeaky way, in a big way. I needed to show up for people And in order to show up for people, you kind of have to show up in a big way. You have to be bold. You have to be committed. You have to be passionate, or else you're not going to move a soul. So that is where I got my answer in that picture. Okay. So May 22nd of 2016, I got my answer. My line was drawn in the sand. I didn't know what it was going to look like, but I knew it was going to happen. So that's when I made my first post, and it went bonkers. Guys, we were able to enroll 15 people my first week. 15 people my first week, okay? That's nuts. But remember, I was a stubborn brat, so it was not within my first 30 days, so I didn't get Fast Start Gold. But we enrolled a whole bunch of people right away. And you know why? Because I was a stubborn brat, and I didn't post about anything on my Facebook page except my kids and Jesus and my husband and my family. That's all I posted about. But it was starting to change lives, and I started to see it roll, and things started to happen, and I was excited. But I want to tell you, not one of them was business builders. Not one. 15 people enrolled. None of them were business builders. So we got to gold solely on enrolling people, customers. There was no business building happening. And even, I remember at this time I was taking my kids to Dr. Kim's, because she was our pediatrician. She has been for 10 years. And she saw the times when I was miserable, and she put me on antidepressants 4 years ago when I was at the depths of hell. And then she started to see me come back to life. So at that point, she was like, what the heck are you doing? And I told her, and I was like, it's Plexus, but I don't want to tell anyone because I hate network marketing. So she didn't join me, guys, until I was senior gold. I hustled my butt off, and I drummed shiz up till I was senior gold. So if you're gold or senior gold and you're like, I don't have any business builders, no one wants to do this with me, guess what? I remember there was a time, and this is part of something I want to talk about. There was a time I remember thinking I'd open my messenger and be like, there's nothing to do. No one's responding. No one's reaching out to me. Like, I can open, like, there's nothing to do. It's crickets. No one's responding to my posts. Yeah, it started out really great, but it's not that way anymore. And I'm having to like drum shiz up is what I call it. So I had to get super committed at that point and sit down with my husband and say, here is my schedule. I'm going to work no matter if there's work or not these days. And I want you to force me to go away, because if my kids are around, I'm just going to kiss their faces off and I won't work. So I'm going to go away, and I got to drum shiz up. So I'd go downstairs and I'd look through my customers and be like, maybe that person would share with that person. Maybe I can get that person to post on Facebook. Oh, there's this cold message that I forgot about and they responded. And I just drum shiz up. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. Just try to make things happen. Go into my cold messages and wake them up. Go into some 3-ways that I'd started with Emily. Wake them up. Try to get people talking to me. Even just going through and commenting on, I know, right, Emily? Commenting on people's posts and trying to be genuine, but build relationships and build that trust. I drummed shiz up till I was senior gold. I didn't have one business builder. Okay? Then the glorious day came, and Dr. Kim caught the vision. She was just like me. She wanted nothing to do with it for the first 3 months. So it was long. It was a long time before I had a business builder. So I want to stop and pause for a minute. If you're in that place where you feel like, I'll never get a business builder, there's all these people ranking up, and I don't have anyone that really wants it, and I wish someone would do it with me, and I got a couple of people that kind of want to share, but no one's a rock star. I just won't ever get to diamond. Has anyone ever felt that way? Ricky, raise your hand. Ricky and I had to talk about this last month, right? And look at her now. Okay, so I want you to know, guys, every single diamond, every single emerald that you ever see has felt that before, has been where they felt stuck, has felt like nothing's happening. This maybe isn't going to work for me. Nobody wants to do this with me. Okay, and that was the time that's where I was, okay? All right, yep, it totally comes and goes in waves. Now I'm going to show you a couple more pictures, and I'm going to dig into this. Okay. All right, so that's where I was. Dr. Kim entered the scene. And then this picture, okay? So I was senior gold, but I want to tell you some of my fears, because I know a lot of us share some similar fears. I was afraid of momentum. I'm going to repeat that. I was afraid of momentum. Have you ever been afraid of momentum? Have you been afraid to be slave to your phone? Have you been afraid to ignore your kids? Have you been afraid to, oh, I cannot do this. I got to see your faces. I'll pull that up in a minute. Okay. I was at Senior Gold. It started to roll. Kim was starting to get involved. It started to really happen. And I was like, oh crap, what have I done? This is a little crazy. It was like running downhill. And I was like, oh, my legs are falling out from under me. So I was kind of stopping my momentum by not having people post day one. And I was kind of like hanging back a little and just like easing off because I was afraid of momentum. I was also afraid to succeed. I was afraid of what that would look like. I was afraid of what people would think of me, how they'd view me, if I would shine too bright. I've got like some family relationships that I think are wonderful, and then sometimes I learn that they feel differently because they feel like I shine too bright. And to me, that was a real struggle. I didn't want to outshine people. I want to lift people up. I want people to feel special. I want them to feel like they mean something. So for me to shine bright was scary. And I remember, Liz, you were around at this time. Like I remember talking about this, and I was like, I don't want it to be about me. I want it to be about everybody else. And I learned this picture. This picture was in the Starbucks bathroom. I went to do my power hour because sometimes I have to leave my house. And maybe that's something that you can write down and try. Sometimes I have to leave my environment so I can actually focus. But I went into Starbucks, I sat down, and we were kind of almost ready to hit Ruby, but I was still afraid of momentum. And I remember going into the bathroom, and I don't know what it was. Maybe it was the awesome lighting, but I had this feeling like, no, I need to jump. I need to do this in a big way. And this was my shift. Guys, I'm such a dork. Look at that face. Like, but this is my, I'm going to do something big face. Like, it's time for me to get over my dang self and jump into this. I was 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and it was draining my energy. So I want you to relate with this. How many of you can say that sometimes you might be afraid of momentum, so you hold yourself back? Okay, I'll tell you what happened. When I had that moment, I remember texting Emily after it, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to do this big. Let's go, let's go, let's go. I want to do it. Let's go. Like, it lit a fire in me because I felt more confirmation that this is what I was supposed to be doing, and I needed to do it in a big way. I needed to stop thinking small, and I needed to stop being in fear because I was fear-based at that point. I didn't consciously know it, but I was like, oh, but what if I get to the point where I can't, be myself with my family, and I feel like I'm always on my phone, and I'm blah, 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 blah. Bull crap. That's fear-based. And when we're operating from a place of faith and abundance and peace, we can see that we don't know how it's going to work out, but we can step into the dark and it starts to follow. Okay, I got to be faster here. So here is my, let's see, I want to show you my last picture. Okay, so we hit Ruby, we hit Senior Ruby, and then we hit Emerald. And there was a lot that happened between there. But then I hit Emerald, and I had like a minute of, oh crap, what have I done again? Got our Lexus, and I was like, this is so exciting. And then I was like, oh, what if I don't keep my freaking rank? What if I have to pay this payment? What if? And I seriously got myself into a dark, dark place where I was very afraid, and I was not in abundance mentality, and I was in fear mentality. And that, it rocked my world for a couple weeks, guys. And then again, boink. I all of a sudden got blonde hair, and I had this epiphany. No, but I was at Starbucks, and this was right after I started to realize, you know what? I'm going to do this big. It's his thing. This isn't my thing. He's in charge. He told me this is what I'm supposed to do, and I got to show up. I got to get my 2 feet, jump in, and show the freak up. So that's when I was like, all right, let's go. That's when I really started to get into, like, I want to develop my people. I want to help them reach their goals. Because, guys, if we stay at Emerald, that means we're not helping people hit goals. When I went to the Emerald Extravaganza, I talked to a couple people, and there's no judgment here at all, but I want to just present to you this mentality. There was a couple people that said, when last year we had 3 Emeralds on our team here, like sideline. I'm the only one that came back, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. But in my mind, I'm like, don't you want to help your people? Where's your people? Don't you want your people to be where you are? So I feel like that was another shift where I was like, okay, it's not about me. Now I got to reach down, and I got to help these people get to where I am, get to where they want to go. And it's bigger thinking, guys. It's blowing your brains. It's like you can't think small anymore. You got to think, I don't know how this is going to work. I don't know how it's going to look. I don't know how it's going to all fit together, but it is. And I got to step into it in a big way. Okay? All right. That's all for that. I've got, let's see. We've got book clutter in it, but I'm going to try to make this fast. So here's the nitty gritty. Do you guys want to hear some nitty gritty? Like some logistical stuff?
Christy, you are doing amazing, and I'm sure we could all just sit here and listen to you talk for 3 hours and be totally fine. I've like pulled up with a blanket. I've got some pretzels. Like, this is better than going to the movies.
Oh my gosh. I love it. You're so cute. Okay. All right. So I want you to write this down because I hope you're taking notes, because I want you to take something that you can take away from this. So I want you to write down the 4 P's. And this isn't even about plexus, even though that starts with a P. This is something that was like a few years ago. I'm all about New Year's and New Year's goals and stuff. So this is kind of something that brought me a lot of peace back in the day. And I use it to this day. I still use it. The 4 P's are pray, plan, and I'm going to go over them so you don't have to write it fast. Pray, plan, prepare, and then be present. Okay, so do you guys ever feel like you're just a chicken with your head cut off? You're like, I commented on that post, now I got to go do invites, and then blah, 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 and you're just all over the place, and it feels chaotic. So sometimes we want to avoid it because we're like, that's like a chaotic place to be. Calm down, get centered. For me, praying is what gets me centered immediately. And I am not perfect at this. I have to tell you, I'm striving, but it's not something I'm perfect at. But it's definitely something that I strive for. So praying, whatever that is for you, get centered. Do some meditation. Operate from a place of strength and peace. Because if there is anything in your mindset that is, I suck, I can't do this, it's not going to work for me, you're not operating from a place of truth. You've got to get to your truth. So pray or just be aligned, whatever that is for you. And pray to have inspiration for what's the next step. Because there's a billion steps that we could take. And sometimes we get crippled or we get paralyzed because we feel like we need to take a million steps all at once. We don't know which one to take first, right? So pray to know what's my next step. What's the big rock? Okay? And then plan. So then say a prayer, get centered, get calm, and then get out some paper and start to plan. Say, this is what's coming up this month. This is what's coming up this week. This is my big rocks. These are the things that are must-dos. And then start to plan and plug those into your days and say, okay, if I can get those 3 things done tomorrow, then it will be the big rocks. And then prepare. So say, okay, I've got a 2-hour block tomorrow night after my kids go to bed. I'm going to try to knock out my 7-day challenge group. I'm going to send invites for 7-day challenge. I'm going to follow up with blah, blah, blah. Write it out. Prepare as much as you can. And then when those time blocks come and you have, you figure out, my plexus time is 12 to 2 or 8 o'clock at night to 9 o'clock at night or whatever it is for you. You got to plan that out. Highlight in your planner. This is my diamond time. You don't call it plexus time. It's your diamond time because you're creating diamond in those slots of time, just one step at a time. And then you've got to say, this is what I'm going to do during that time. So you pray, plan, prepare as much as you can, and then you let it go and you be present. Because do we ever feel like we're doing a million things all at once and we're not doing anything really well because we're like trying to hand our kids food and then we're like, okay, yeah, and then probiotic 5 and blah, blah, blah. Like, guys, that's chaos. And we do have to do it sometimes. The end of the month is flat out chaos at our house. And it's okay. We kind of embrace it. But the more we can pray, plan, prepare, and then be present in what you're doing. You have those chunks of time so you can look forward and say, you know what? I've got 2 hours tonight. I'm going to knock that out. And if something comes to your mind, write it on your list. So you know, okay, when it's my diamond time, when I'm working on diamond tonight from 9 to 10 or whatever, I'll knock that out. And then go be present with your family. Like, we can't fall into the trap of being lunatics all the time in the name of doing plexus. Baloney. We got to be intentional. You got to have those chunks of time, and then we can execute. Okay. Be committed. Back to my story. So write that down. Be committed. I have a few B's for us to remember. So the commitment. Whenever people ask me to talk on team calls, I feel like the only thing I want to talk about is commitment. Not because I think there's nothing else, but I think it's the most foundational and the most transformational thing you can do in your business is to strengthen your commitment. Remember how I said I had 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and I was afraid of momentum? Did you know that, oh, you want to kiss my face? Well, I'd turn so you'd kiss me on the lips, so there's that. Okay, so did you know that most of our energy is spent on unmade decisions? Most of our energy is spent on unmade decisions. So if you're feeling drained, if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling sapped of your energy, maybe let's go back to the beginning and look at your commitment. And of course, we need to look at like our chunks of time and trying to honor that and being present. But guys, if you commit to the process and you say, you know what, I don't know what this looks like. I thought I wanted to be diamond in a year, but it looks like it's going to take longer. Who cares? You're committed. You're committed to the process, whatever it brings to you. You're committed to back office mayhem. You're going to be okay. You'll just run a customer service office out of your home. It's okay. Whatever happens, you just submit to the process. And I'll tell you, when you do that, it's so much more fun and it's more peaceful when you realize it doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, I'm going to get to the end of this and I'll be a diamond at some point. It doesn't matter when. I'm committed. I know I got my answer. My line's been drawn in the sand. That's all that matters. Everything else, it will take care of itself. Okay, so 212 degrees. Have you ever heard this analogy? So when water is really, really hot, it's 211 degrees, right? There's a lot of heat going into it. And maybe some of you have heard me say this. When you raise it that 1 degree and it's 212 degrees, it starts to boil. And when it boils, it creates steam. And steam can power a locomotive. Okay? So let that just sink in. That is commitment. If you're working really hard, you're like, I don't know what's going on in my business. Everything's not going like I thought it would. Well, maybe you're at 211 degrees. Maybe you have 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Maybe you're not fully committed. Maybe you're holding yourself back in one way. Maybe you have a fear that you're buying into. You're at 211 degrees. You're applying a lot of pressure, but not enough pressure to get steam. And once you have steam, you can power a locomotive. That's when you start to get momentum, guys, is when you couple that commitment with all these things and you're being consistent, you're showing up. So commitment to me is everything. You draw your line in the sand. You don't ever look back. You don't ever say, well, maybe this just won't work for me. Bull crap. It will work for you if you stick in here long enough to see it through. You got to be here long enough to reap the harvest from the seeds you're planting right now. It takes time for seeds to be nourished and to grow and to start to produce fruit. So if you quit, you never know what kind of seeds you might have seen come to fruition 3 months down the road, 6 months down the road, a year down the road. You got to be here long enough to see it happen. Okay, another thing, lack of commitment is like stepping in dog poop. Have you guys ever stepped in dog poop? Or someone, you get in the car and you're like, oh my gosh, it stinks. Who has it? Everybody look at your shoes. That is how lack of commitment is. If you have 1 foot in, 1 foot out, you might think you're fooling people, but you've stepped in dog poop and people can smell it. So don't check your shoes, wipe your shoes off, make sure you don't have nasty poop all over your shoes that people can smell. Whether they tell you or not, they might not be responding because they can smell the poop, right? Maybe that's not it, but definitely worth looking into. I have a quote really quick. Okay. So when we're fully committed and we're fully sold out, guys, it starts to affect our actions. And our actions, when they're on fire and passionate because of our 100% commitment, starts to affect our results. Okay? So belief fuels enthusiasm, and enthusiasm explodes into passion. It fires our souls and lifts our spirits. Okay? So guys, be committed, because when you're committed, you get excited because you're like, I don't care what kind of roadblocks I come into. I know at the end of this thing, I'm going to reach my goal no matter what. So it takes the shiz work out of it. It makes it funner. Okay, here's some logistics with commitment, and I'm going to try to make this. I really am trying to be fast, but I want to make sure I give you these nuggets. Okay, logistically, commitment. If you're fully committed to your business, you've got to create like 3 times a week of full-blown action where you're not distracted, where you can sit down for 2 to 3 hours and be intentional. Because I'll tell you what, guys, we're not going to hit diamond by fielding calls, by fielding people's messages. We have to create momentum. You've got to dig in intentionally and start to work intentionally with people to create momentum. And so you've got to have undivided attention. For me, when I was Ruby and I was looking at wanting to hit Emerald, I said, okay, I'm going to hire my sister to come 3 days a week for 3 hours. So it's during nap time, but there's like an hour in the beginning and an hour at the end that I need to cover. And I paid for that, guys. Yes, it's a commitment. It's a sacrifice. But if you're serious about Diamond or you're serious about Emerald, you have to reinvest a little bit. You've got to create momentum. It's got to be valuable for you. So for me, that's what it looked like. Maybe that will work for you. 3 days a week of 3 to 4 hours, or 2 to 3, whatever it is, of hardcore intentional action where you're doing your IPA, you're following up, you're pouring into your people. For me, that's what really started to make things really go crazy when I was intentional with that 3 times a week, 3 hours, and it was non-negotiable. And I put it in my phone as Diamond time. So do that. That's when you're creating Diamond. Another logistic for me, I don't do any laundry, I don't cook, and I do hardly any cleaning right now. Don't hate me. I told my husband, I was like, okay, honey, I'm going to hire someone to do the laundry, and I'm going to create a solution for cooking, and I'm going to hire a house cleaner so I can dig in, and I'm only doing the things that are most important, being a mom, being a wife, and doing plexus. That's it right now. So re-examine, look at your life. If there's something, are you pouring 2 or 3 hours a day cleaning your house? Stop it. Like, figure out a solution. Yes, totally. It's totally true. So now, and I did that before I could really afford it, guys, because I was like, I got to figure out a solution. I want more. I want this to keep going. So I can't be pouring my time into doing those mundane daily things that drain our time. Another thing, I do hair part-time, and this has broken my heart. I've had to slowly cut back on my clients, but I'm committed to the big vision of this. So you got to kind of re-examine. You can tell them, honey, this is because I'm creating a Diamond dynasty. The laundry's fine. Kids can get clothes out of a pile. It's fine. It's going to be okay for a couple of years, right? Okay. Another thing, I decided I was going to sacrifice TV, my afternoon nap, bedtime hustle. When I want to go to bed, I still hustle for about an hour. And what does that look like for you? So I want you to examine, and you're already doing this, but you want to make some conscious sacrifices and conscious create solutions around the things like that are sucking your time. Okay, be unconditional. This is the next one. Did you know? So write that down. Be unconditional. The thing is, when people decide to quit plexus, guess what our response should be? Okay, I love you. When people decide to do plexus forever, okay, I love you. When people decide to start sharing, okay, I love you. When people say, this sucks, I hate network marketing, this company, blah, 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 okay, I love you. Here's the point. When I see people at church that don't ever respond to my messages and they told me they were dying to feel better and they never respond, hi, how are you? I don't care. Guys, we've got to practice the art of being unconditional. Don't let it affect the way you treat people. We've got to treat everybody like they support us, because they will. And if they don't, then we move on, and it's okay. But I think a lot of there's an emotional roller coaster that we jump on, and woohoo, they hate me, they love me, they hate me, they love me, they didn't respond, oh my gosh. Forget it, guys. Like, we got to be unconditional. People love us. They don't care. They really care about their lives more than ours. So the more we can just be unconditional, treat everybody like they support us, treat everybody like they want to do what we're doing. Even if they don't, it's okay. But the more we can be unconditional, people sense that and they start to gravitate toward you. Okay. That, along with being unconditional, no matter how we feel, sorry guys, book club's a little late. We've got to do what we know we need to do regardless of if we feel like it or not. Guess what? There's a lot of days when I don't feel like doing plexus. And I make sure to tell my husband, I'll be like, I'm making a sacrifice right now while he's watching a show and I'm sitting there with my laptop in bed. Sometimes you got to do that. It's like, guess what? I'm making a sacrifice. I don't want to do this right now, but my goal and my dream is bigger than what I want right now, and I'm going to do this. And that comes with being unconditional. Okay, be in motion. Inspiration always comes as we keep our feet moving, okay? That's something that I heard at a really pivotal time in my life. Yes, I love that. Okay, if you feel stuck, keep moving. Take a step. Don't take 10 steps. Take a step, and then take another step, and then another step. Being in motion creates momentum, and your team will do what they see you do. And I know we hear that all the time, But I still, to this day, I just laugh when I'm like, seriously, I still do what Emily and Brooke do. Like, I do what I see them do. And my team, I still see them do what I do. So if you want to create a diamond legacy business, do what you want your team to do. Do what your leaders are doing, and they'll follow you. I'm going to cut this way short because I don't want to, but okay, drum shiz up. Let's talk about that. Okay, do you guys ever feel stuck? Do you feel like, I don't even know what to do? I want momentum and I don't know how to get it. Okay, if you feel stuck, lock yourself in a room, pull out your messenger, pull out your list. I have a list on Google Sheets, and I have a hot list that's like my active, super active people, and I have my gigantic connections list with like 650 names, because I'm visual. I have to be able to see things so that I don't have to use my brain, because I go bonkers when I have like ADD real bad. So sit down, lock yourself in a room if you feel stuck, and just start doing a blitz. Send messages like crazy. Go through your messenger till the beginning of time and wake up messages that are stagnant. It's not about a whole bunch of people responding at once. It's about one or two people saying, oh yeah, I think I want to try that. It's like, I think of like marble, like you tap it and then a vein goes, you know what I mean? Like a tiny little tap, and you'll get like a little crack, and then it will crack more and more and more and more and more. Like that's what I see. You're just wanting a vein. So you want to just tap, tap, tap till you get a vein that will go and start to really take off. So if you feel stuck, get out your connections list, get out your hot list, get your phone, and just drum shiz up. Look through messages, send cold messages, put out a post. Be intentional with your relationship building. That's what I call drum shiz up. And there's no reason, I felt stuck before, guys, but there's no reason we have to feel stuck, because totally, when you feel anything undesirable, take action, you'll feel better. Even if you feel like you don't want to do plexus, do it, and you'll feel better. It's true. So be in motion, stay in motion. And the last thing I want to say is be a leader, make it happen. This is something I learned years ago, and write it down. So if you're feeling stuck or struggling or feeling like you want someone to answer this question, be a leader, make it happen. Be a leader, create solutions. Be a leader, make it happen. Whatever it is, whatever the struggle is, create solutions on your own. Because whenever I think about this, I think no one cares if I go diamond. You guys all love me. My upline loves me, my downline loves me, and I love you all too. But ultimately, nobody cares. No one's going to take me to diamond but me. I mean, there's a lot of people that are on our team that are doing awesome, and that's great, but they're not going to get me to diamond. I have to take ownership of my own business, and I've got to start to create pathways that my team can follow. And that's one thing I want to suggest. If you have a team of people, start to create a track for your people to run on. Give them verbiage. Say, this is what we're doing today, and give them the verbiage. This is what we're going to do tomorrow. Give them verbiage. Make it easy for your people to execute, and then do it yourself, and they will start to follow. And seriously, guys, I hope this was okay. Like, I feel like I'm so rushed, but I want you to know that this opportunity is ridiculous. I shared the first part of my story with you because I want you to know that I was a skeptical, rotten, stubborn brat that hated network marketing, and now we'll be diamonds someday, because this opportunity is insane. This compensation plan is insane. I'm so passionate about the products. The products change people's lives. We have incredible mentors. There is no excuses for any of us. No, none excuses. We have this opportunity right now. And guess what, guys? They asked me to host Super Saturday in Salt Lake, me and Kim, and they sent us some numbers today. Utah is very unsaturated. I know we're from all over on this call, but a lot of us are in Utah. And did you know that we have a long way to grow in Utah? And guess who's going to override all of the growth? All of you people right now are pioneers. And I want you to just grab a hold of that vision and freaking make it happen, guys. There's no excuse. We can do this. We have everything laid out. This company's incredible. And I just want you all to know how real this is. Coming from someone who was skeptical, snotty, stubborn, snarky, and hated it all. Now I'm like so in love with this company, with our team, with our mentors, and everything. It is amazing. So I love you all. Thank you so much for letting me be on this call. I hope you got something. I have sweat tacos because I just want so much for you guys to get something out of this. So
Christy, I think you'd have to be like a dead rock to not get something out of this. I just feel like I feel so blessed to work with you. And I feel so honored that you took your time to pour into all of us tonight. And I think, you know, you guys, Christy did a call for our team, gosh, like a year and a half ago, right? It was like not this summer, but the summer before. I remember you did a call and it was incredible. This is like 5 million Incredibles above that.
Oh my gosh, you're so sweet.
I know that anyone who has seen Christy in this growth process and how she has raised her lid of leadership that was already very high. It's so inspiring to watch you and to watch your process. And Christy gets messages from me, like whether it's Marco Polo or text every day. And I'm like, you're so amazing. Oh my gosh, you're so amazing. I just love you so much. You're so amazing. Because he is truly one of the most amazing leaders. And I love that she broke that down and shared with us those steps, because I feel like that's what's hard as a leader, is breaking that down and doing that. Being able to break that down for people and share all that. And you did such a perfect job of doing that. So thank you so much for doing that. My favorite parts that you said were to create diamond time, not plexus time, but renaming that as diamond time. And I loved your analogy of the vein and the marble and how you just, because it's so true. And it's not even like necessarily a plexus follow-up that will do that. Mm-hmm. It's like a relationship follow-up message. It's just that one little, so
being unconditional. Yes.
Okay. So if you don't know what that word is, stay tuned. So I'm just so grateful for everything that you shared with us tonight. And I know that Sapphire is just right around the corner for you, because you're doing all that you've just always been consistent. And I think that is, if you are wondering, how can I even start? Like, Christy's given me all these amazing things, but where do I start? You just do it every single day. You focus on it a little bit every single day. And that's what I have done. That's what Brooke Hemingway has done. That's what anybody who has been successful in this company has done. And just to close, I want to touch on what Christy said about how Utah is so unsaturated. So is California. Pretty much everywhere is unsaturated. Even a place like Texas that is considered saturated. Leah Carlson is a senior gold ambassador on my team in Texas. She still meets people who have never heard of plexus. Right? So maybe your state is considered saturated by plexus terms. If it's not saturated in your network, it doesn't matter, right? And it's probably not saturated in your network unless your name is Celeste Gwynn, right? Uh-huh. So here's the thing. I want you to understand that if you don't go get them, somebody else will. You're going to be signed up under somebody, might as well be you. Go get your friends. Get them on your team, because there's nothing worse than watching someone go sign up somewhere else when they could have just been with you. So that's all. I love you guys. I'm so excited. I hope you will share this with your team members that didn't get the blessing of being here with us tonight. And thanks for tuning in, and let's go make this a great December. Thank you so much, Christy.
Love you all. You're welcome. I love you all.